Okay, thank you very much, sir, for talking to me at this short notice. I would like to start by asking you to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And my name is Mr. Issa Chiroma, Minister Issa Chiroma, for having been a minister for 4 years in my country. I am an engineer by training, married, and I have three daughters. One is doctor, and two others are very well skilled and qualified, and they are abroad. So, and I have been an MP, member of parliament, now former minister, and well, I am dedicated and devoted all my time now for the improvement of the life, of day-to-day life of Cameroonian in Cameroon and within the democratic process which is in place in Cameroon today.
Okay, sir. One of the things that you've been highlighted recently is your firm backing of the memorandum that was published on the North. Can you tell me what are the salient points that you people raised in this memorandum?
Well, the memorandum is the outcome of a policy which was conceived in 1983, in 1984, after the abortive attempt of coup d'etat. As you know, most of those who engineered the plot were Northerners. When they foiled the plot and they conceived a policy which consists of ostracizing, marginalizing the Grand North. And today the situation became so unbearable, so inhumane, that the Grand North became a time bomb for this country. Me as a politician, as a citizen of this country, aware of what is taking place here and there, I accepted to be part of the team that wrote the memorandum to let Cameroonian in particular and people of good faith all over the world to know that we are marginalized. We are being punished for 22 years. And now we are fed up and we say that enough is enough. We have to make it out that clear and out that you have to know what is taking place in the North. And when we conceive and publish the memorandum, nobody can deny one single line of what is written in this wonderful document. So we did it to let you people know that something is going wrong in the North. And if this time bomb is not diffused at due time, you should never be surprised tomorrow if something wrong starts from the North, because really people are desperate and destitute.
Now, so you say that this memorandum sprang from the abortive coup d'etat. Do you think that it is some sort of punishment for the Northerners for trying to overthrow the present regime?
It is a conviction. You spend some few days in the North. Unfortunately, you haven't had the time to visit the hinterland. The North is in such a disarray, in such a destitution, that no organized people in this country could accept the hardship, the dire condition in which the Northerners are today. I mean it. I speak it clear and loud that the situation became unbearable. If because some Northerners at any given time took the arm, all of them have been arrested, court-martialed, executed. All of those who at any given time were in charge of a parastatal company, all of us, we were arrested. Let me remind you that I spent 7 years, almost 7 years of my life in prison as a political prisoner. So this is a collective punishment which is being implemented, enforced in the North. This is not a guess. This is a reality.
Okay, so on the ground, people would say that those of you who presented the memorandum you're all former ministers.
Sure.
And like you say, you were arrested, but you became minister after that. People want to know why, when you were minister, those of you who have presented this memorandum did not act.
Well, they are perfectly right in evocating this remark, which is really pertinent. We were a minister. But I would like you to remember and to know that you are a minister for the state, for the republic. You haven't been appointed as a minister to alleviate the burden or to solve the problem of your area. In the domain where you are a minister, you are in charge of this sector all over the country. I am proud of my achievement as a Minister for Transport for almost 4 years. Facts speak louder than what you can say and what you can read. I am very proud of my achievement. When you are a minister, you do the best you can to be successful in your own area, but you haven't signed any contract with the people. The head of state, who has been elected on a program, you are his own collaborator. You do the best to improve the economy. You do the best to collect a lot of money. But all those things are in charge and responsibility of the head of state. He signed a contract with the people. He has to implement a policy. You see, not you, minister. If he gives you an instruction, you follow it, you fulfill your commitment. But you are not accountable with the people. You are accountable with the head of state, whom you are a collaborator. You see, we heard the people saying that when you were minister, why didn't you do? It was impossible. The magnitude of the problems that in which the North is today is beyond the competence and the willingness of a single people. Even all the Northerners combined today cannot solve this problem without a political will. Today, you don't have this political will. We accepted to be minister in 1982, 92. Really, Fundi was elected as a head of state, but he was deprived of his victory. And he self-proclaimed himself as the elected of state. If you can recall, by that time, the state of emergency was declared. We had to choose between saving the republic, which was at the verge of collapse and the civil war, or to stick by our principle, which consists of saying, no, Mr. Biya didn't win the election, and to join Mr. Fundi, and the consequence might be unforeseeable. So we decided to join the government to save legality, not legitimacy. You see, and this prompted us to violate even some of our principles and to save peace in the country. This is really the motivation of our part to accept to be involved in the Biya's government. And we did the best we can in order to help our country to solve some of the problem. But the critics, which consist of saying that you were a member of the government and you didn't do anything, this doesn't stand the road at all.
Okay, sir. So you were minister with most of the others who signed the memorandum. Are you saying that there is lack of political will in the ruling government to alleviate the situation up north?
What I am saying is it is obvious, it is clear. In 1984, as I told you, they conceived a policy which consisted of marginalizing. This policy implemented results today in the absence of Northerners in our civil service. You have, while we are more than 45% of this country in terms of population, today I challenge anyone to prove me that you have 2% of Northerners in the civil service. In my hometown, Garoua, for example, you have less than 40 people who are civil servant in our civil service. I say 40 people, including the Minister of State and any other high-ranking official. in our administration. The situation is so bad.
Minister Chiruma, what you're saying, these are accusations that are really, really tough. Are you saying that in the whole of Marwa there are not up to 40 people within the civil service, or are you talking of top government positions?
I am native of Garoua, and I challenge anybody to prove me that you have 40 people in the civil service ranking from what we call back and plus. Impossible to find 40 people, including minister and director, chef service, and all others. It is impossible in Garoua today. And this situation for us is unacceptable. We have to speak loud and clear that we are fed up because the future has ceased to bear any hope.
Now, when this memorandum came out, government reacted to it. What was government's reaction?
No reaction. They said that we are not bandit, but something which was not very far away from this. We are in nostalgia. We wanted to come back to government because we were dismissed, and we have this nostalgia of government. They wanted to bedevil us. We became what you call in French empêcheur de tourner en rond, you see. So the facts are there, and facts are stubborn. You like me, you dislike me. When I am black, I am black. You cannot change it. The facts are there. The ground earth disposes of everything. Let me tell you this. I spent 2 days in Bamenda. I drove through Bafoussam. Bafoussam is 10 times richer than any city in the Grand North. Bamenda is at least twice, if not thrice, larger and more prosperous than any other city in the north. You have to realize it. This was not the case 20 years ago. Mr. Biya must understand that he is the head of state for all Cameroonian, not for part of Cameroonian. And I say that if having resorted to arms, some Northerners took the arm, today all the Northerners gave him the best they can in order to, how can I say it in English, my friend, in order to not only to please him, but to redeem themselves. Okay? We fail. We are not understood. This situation became unbearable. He has to understand. I'm not talking on my behalf. By the grace of Almighty, I can feed myself. Everything is good as far as I am concerned. But he must understand that time has come for him to listen to understand, and to change. Should he fail or adamantly refuse to listen what we are saying, the consequence is there.
When this memorandum came out, there were some ministers in place, led by the President of the House of Assembly and the Minister of State in charge of territorial administration and decentralization. They took a massive tour up north, disclaiming the memorandum.
They did it just for the sake of their own interests. People are starving. People are dying in the Grand North. You have less than 13% of the population who are educated, who can read and write. You spend time in the North. To get yourself understood even in French, you need somebody to translate from our dialect into French for you to understand, to communicate with people. These are facts. You cannot change it. They went there just to bedevil us, to say that we by sensitizing people, by galvanizing people to be part and parcel of the process of change in this country, to be the architect of their life, they say that we are inciting people to become rebel and to destroy peace. Cameroon is in peace. What kind of claim? when you cannot feed yourself, when you cannot dress yourself, when you cannot educate yourself, when you are disposed of everything, you say that Cameroon is at peace? This is a lie. This is not truth. And people know they spend time, they were ridiculous. They were ridiculous. And they have to understand that they are ridiculous.
Now, so let's go to the coalition. Apparently, with the presence of there is a real firm presence of top politicians from the north within the present coalition. Do you think that this memorandum is going to galvanize the people of the north during these coming elections for change?
There is no doubt. There is no doubt. You see, there is a proverb in my area which says that when somebody is stronger than you, he can use your own arms and slap your face. This is what CPDM is doing over there. You see, unfortunately, I wonder if you had the opportunity to read this memorandum. Please read it. You are a Cameroonian, to understand the danger which is looming large over our head. You have a very black cloud which is hanging over our head, like a Damocles sword. I don't know if you say it in English. This is something which is hanging over our head. So this memorandum will galvanize for sure. This is the most important campaign to sensitize. But we know one thing. All the laws are tailored to serve Mr. Biya's purpose. The administration is dedicated to confiscate the power because through Mr. Biya, all civil servants are doing what they want. Our Supreme Court, appointed by Mr. Biya, spoiled by him. They are there just to legalize the fraud, massive fraud. We know the result. Onel, which is there, appointed by Mr. Biya, they were courageous enough to report what is wrong in our electoral process. But they have no choice but to testify that the election were free and fair, so that Mr. Biya, even before running the election, is already elected. There is no doubt about it. Mr. Biya cannot be the one who organized the election and have the administration dedicated to him, all the laws tailored for him, and to say that he is defeated. We know this, but we have to galvanize, to sensitize, to mobilize Cameroonians, to let them know that they have to stand up, never give up, never give in the pressure of CPDM. We have to be ready to fight for the sake of peace, for the sake of democracy. Today you have, you see, Cameroon is a country of 16 million. You have less than 4 million who are voters. Cameroonians are disfranchised. So, you see, to come back to the question that you put to me, memorandum will galvanize, will sensitize, and I hope that the Northerners will be their own saviors, and to let the world know that they cannot. You see, okay, let me stop in this point.
Okay, sir. Tell me, how is the coalition faring today? Who are the people who make up this coalition?
Well, the coalition is faring very well. We spend a nice time in Bamenda, scrutinizing, assessing the situation from the birth of this coalition up to date. The future, which yesterday was bleak, begins to be brighter, and I am hopeful that we will be able to bring together the broken pieces in terms of the member of the opposition who at any given time were we dispersed. We are going to unite, to galvanize, and to mobilize as many outstanding politicians as possible, because this fight No single political party can make it. Even united, without the backing and the support of the people, it wouldn't be possible to win this victory. Even united, without the help of Democrats, of the rest of the world, it wouldn't be easy to unroot Mr. Biya. So we are very well aware of this, and the coalition is doing very well. We have very outstanding people there, Chairman Frundi and Damjoya, Minister Yaounde, Minister Hogbelen, Minister Sanda, Minister Antar, myself, and many others. And Jean-Jacques Ikindi is going to join the coalition, and many others. So all the prominent members of the opposition, all the emblematic figures, those who were really the outstanding leaders, we understood that by being divided, we played the game in the hand of CPDM. The honor and our responsibility compel us into coming together to draw the line and to be forward-looking people, not backward-looking people.
Now, sir, tell me, what is the policy? What policy is the coalition presenting? What alternative are they presenting to the people of Cameroon today?
Yes, we wrote a political blueprint in which we emphasize what the policy of the opposition. Should the opposition win the election, the opposition will be going to implement. First of all, we have to the next head of state, if he comes from the opposition, will be in office just for 2 years, for get things right, to rewrite the constitution, to well, I don't know. For you to really understand what the program contains, you have to take notice of this document. But what I can say is that the constitution is the most important item in our own agenda. We have to get it right, because today, as I said a while ago, all the laws are tailored to meet Mr. Biya's and his regime needs. So we want the constitution to be impersonal, to be fair, and we want the election to be organized and monitored by an independent body. We want, to go through the constitution and to get everything okay, to update the constitution and to make it suitable to the world of democracy, or the world where the rule of law is prevailing, where the human rights are protected. This is really the stuff which are included in this. But you have to go through it, to read it, and to understand the meaning and the significance of our program, political program.
Now, has the coalition come out with a criteria for who will be selected as its candidate?
Well, for the time being, we are sensitizing people. We are galvanizing. You have most of Cameroonians are fatalistic. Because of what? Because they say that either they vote or not against Mr. Biya, he will be declared elected. Then there is no point for them to register and to go and vote. The most important thing that we have to do today is to sensitize, is to galvanize, and to let Cameroonians know that you cannot at the same time want a peaceful change in your country and abstain from voting. You have to register and go and vote. This is the most important item in our own agenda. We have time. We will set up a criteria for the selection of our nominee, for our nominee who is going to run under the banner of the opposition. This will take place in the near future. You should never be concerned. We have it in our mind and in our spirit, and at due time it's going to be done. No problem.
Now you talk about the voters' apathy that is going on in the country. What is the coalition doing to get people to register and vote?
Yes, we have started to organize rallies in the country. One very important rally took place already in Douala. The day before yesterday, we held a very important rally with a huge crowd in Bamenda. Next week, next Saturday, we have a very important meeting which is to take place in Biya. Next in Bafoussam in the east. Then we will ride to the Grand North. We have just one single message. If you want to preserve our country from any violent disturbance, if you don't like civil war, you have to be a Democrat. You have to be the architect of your life. And to be a Democrat and an architect of your life, you have to vote. Before you vote, you have to register and you have to remain vigilant. This is the message that we are conveying to Cameroonians. We are telling them that time has come for you, not to give in, not to be discouraged. Because to be discouraged, you give the green light to those who are at the helm today to continue to persist in their wrongdoing. You have to stand up, never be discouraged. You see, Cameroonians are in such a mess. They are entangled in two things: fear and the ideas of guilty. You have to pull yourself out of fear. The worst enemy of a human being is fear. You should never be in this situation. So this is what we are doing. We meet Cameroonians, sensitize them and say, look, yesterday we were divided. Today we are uniting ourselves. And in the near future we will be united. Please do what we are doing. Listen to what we are telling you. Be ready to register. Be ready to select, to vote for the candidate that the opposition will nominate.
If this takes place and people vote and the elections are rigged, what will you tell people?
Well, we are working a very efficient, very powerful alternative program. We know the result, as I told you. Never Cameroonian felt so bad in their mind, in their spirit, like today. Everything is going down the drain. It will be paradoxical if Mr. Biya says that he is elected with 80% when even in his own area, Cameroonians are fed up, they are desperate. You see? So we are working an alternative solution to this. But excuse me, if I give you this program, you are going to air it and it will be of no use at all, you see.
Okay, so let's go to the third point. I would just like to start by asking you, can you remember what you were doing the day President Ahidjo resigned?
Well, I was at home in Douala. I was Deputy Director for Transport when late Ahidjo resigned. I could not believe, because personally I know him. When I was a student in Paris, I used to meet him whenever he comes to Paris, or whenever I am on vacation here in Cameroon. I used to meet him. And really, no sign, no outside sign could lead us to believe that he would resign. I was shocked. And I was thrown in such a disarray because of a sudden, everything changed in your life. So really, I was in this spirit when I heard that, I listened to the radio that he decided to resign and to hand over power to his constitutional successor.
You say things changed in your life. What changed in your life?
Well, When Mr. Biya rose to power, was come to the office, I was really very much delighted, because we were in a dictatorship. Cameroon was prosperous, business was booming, everything was okay, but we were deprived of the right of speaking out our mind. You cannot. When Mr. Aijo left the office, I said, well, an intellectual come to the office. And I spent 8 years of my life in Paris practicing democracy, open democracy. Now that we have an intellectual as head of state, we say that the future will be brighter. The economy will continue to prosper when the freedom of speech will come to complete the economic prosperity. This is the spirit in which I was. So I was delighted. I was delighted because I said that, well, I can speak, and I will be part and parcel of the process that will take place in the country to ease the spirit and mind of people and to move forward.
Did this come true?
Unfortunately, in 1982, in 1983, when the so-called coup d'etat was revealed, we understood that we Northerners, we were done. The future, which we thought would be brighter, became somber and dark. And we understood that a very, very deadly machinery was in place to smash. A kind of steamroller was put in place to crush all the Northerners. I was a civil, and I was working in our railway company, as I told you. I was arrested after the abortive attempt of coup d'etat in 1984. I was court-martialed. I was freed by the court, but they kept me in prison for more than 6 years, free, liberated by their own court, but they decided to keep me in prison, as they did for most of those who were in general manager in many of our company. Because of what? Because they were Northerners, just that. So unfortunately, Mr. Biya didn't deliver. He failed.
Can you tell me, how will you consider Ahijo's leadership style compared to that of President Biya today?
Well, today you can speak your mind, but because of democracy, because Cameroonians fought the hardest, the toughest way for the advance of democracy, unfortunately, I could not have a time to enjoy Mr. Biya's rule. I was arrested in 1984, put in jail, and freed in 1991 with the advance of democracy. And I fought the hardest way to get democracy. Now you can speak out your mind. You have a freedom of speech, freedom of press, in so-called, you can do it. This, because we fought. Mr. Biya did not, out of his generosity, and decided that, well, freedom, not at all. You have the casualties of democracy. People die in their 100, even not in their 1,000, in the ground north. The first casualty took place in Bamenda. I recall it the day before yesterday. But if today you can speak freely, but Cameroonians pay the price. This is the difference between Aijo's style and Mr. Biya's style. Today I can speak out my mind, but I am deprived of everything. Not me as such, but the large majority of Cameroonians would prefer listen to what I'm telling you. If you discuss with Cameroonians, really, the large majority of Cameroonians regret the former regime. I say that it is possible to build prosperity with democracy. Today, we have not democracy, freedom of speech. Because democracy today in Cameroon does not allow Cameroonians to change the regime out of a ballot box. It is impossible, impossible. So you have freedom of speech, freedom of press, but not democracy. This is the difference between the two regimes, according to me. In Aijo, you have the economic prosperity, but you don't have a freedom of speech. Today, you have freedom of speech, but we completely lost even the basic to live with.
So tell me, at this point in time, Cameroonians clamor for the return of the remains of the late President Ahidjo. What's your thought on this?
Well, this is the most important problem that you are raising. No matter what took place between Biya and Ahidjo, you and I, we don't know what took place between them. But no matter what took place, when you are the father of the nation, by your own position as head of state, you have to transcend. You have to forgive. And you have to listen to the people. Ahidjo is no more for more than 10 years today. Mr. Biya refuses today to do what he must do. He is talking about reconciliation. Where is this reconciliation? When the late Ahidjo is in his body, his remains, is or are in Senegal. You see, this is the problem. Mr. Biya must understand that with him or without him, one day, solemnly, officially, with dignity and honor, Ahidjo remains will be brought back home, and a due burial ceremony would be given to it, with him or without him. I would wish, when minister, I strongly advocate for that. I wrote a letter to Minister Biya, to President Biya, and I said that you are talking of reconciliation. We need it, but the first steps will consist of bringing back the remains of Ahidjo and all other Cameroonians who fought for the independence of our country, for the democracy of our country, take their body with due respect, solemnity, and consideration. He doesn't like it. He doesn't. Because he's in the spirit that maybe Cameroon is his own private property. Even this, he fails to remember that power, without Ahidjo, he wouldn't have a raise to power. He completely forgot it. So we are fighting. We are fighting, and we think that the first thing that the next head of state will do in order to reconcile Cameroon with their history will consist of taking back the body of all of those who, in one way or other, fought for the sake of the prosperity and peace of their country.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you. You're welcome, BBC.